All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out 4 games on the sim. This is 3 of them are going to be legal in, I think, like EB01 or maybe ST13, but one of them will be legal in OP06 completely. That's going to be the final deck we look at. But these first 3 games we're going to look at are going to be Black Yellow Luffy, Red Purple Law, and then Red Yellow Sabo. So, you know, we're just kind of, I'm getting a feel for these new kinds of decks. I haven't gotten to play with them a lot, but at the same time, they're the leaders I want to start swapping over to as soon as they become available to us over in the West. And then the final game we're going to look at is Blue Yellow Queen, and in that game, that is an OP06 totally legal deck. I think there's like an ST12 searcher in there, the pudding, or not searcher, excuse me, 2K counter. The pudding's from ST12, I believe, but that can be substituted very easily for any other 2K. But anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and hop into this, guys. First up is Black Yellow Luffy, like I said. Let me make sure we got the volume off. We're on 2x speed. Yep, and we're good to go. So I'm going to have the deck list for each one of these at the end of the video. So you got to hang on tight for that or skip ahead. But I'll go ahead and try and talk over these games first. So I'm playing against Black Purple Z, and I'm playing Black Yellow Luffy. And I love playing out Flampy as a 1-drop because it's a draw 1 and draw 1 from your life. That's everything we want to do with Luffy, right? That's like legitimately all that we're trying to do as Luffy, is just get down to 0 life as fast as we can, draw as many cards as we can to get the good cards in our hand, and go from there. So I got what I needed out of a Flampy, and I just swing 4 in. And just, you know, we're off to the races. So I end up using I only run 2 of those 5-cost Sabos that can pop a 5 or less if you trash the top card of your life. And man, it got rid of a Miss All Sunday there. That was very nice. And it's a 5-cost 6K. It's a Sabo target if I absolutely need that for, you know, for the Sabo, the 2-cost Sabo, you know, life searcher or whatever you want to call it. And my opponent plays out a Kuzan here. That is less than ideal because I did just use my removal, the only removal I had in my hand. So that is a little bit rough. And he plays out this guy here. What's his name? Laboon. And, but I did just top deck a Sabo, which will be nice. That will be nice. So I look for some extra answers here to see if I need anything. I probably should have got the other Sabo 2-cost card, but I think getting the ace was fine as well. Because in this situation, all right, so I'm like doing the math in my head, like, all right, where do I need to put these cards so that I can play out both of them and then get the Sabo effect at the end? You see what I'm saying? It's a very technical deck in that way where you have to, like, yes, the deck seems overpowered when it's firing on all cylinders, but it's a little tricky, especially on the sim, to coordinate them exactly the way you want to make it work out. And I was able to do it there. So now this Z player is probably feeling absolutely horrible because he just played out these cost reducers, but he can't KO any of my characters because of the Sabo effect. Very powerful. Okay, he's going to play out 2 queens past turn, and he's ready to start using his leader effect and just go off on me. But he's already at 2 life. So, you know, we'll have to see what happens here. He is not in an ideal situation, that's for sure. So I use my the 5-cost Luffy's effect first, which if you have no cards in your life, you can just plus 2,000 power to him. So that's a 5-cost 8K. You know what I mean? Just basically. So I put 3 on Garp, swing 5 at him, and I'm like, okay, use my leader effect. I put that there and that there because I've got both of them. I have both of the. I put on a Sabo first and then ace. I play out the ace, and then I'm going to play out the Sabo, and now he just quits. And it's over right there, by the way. Like, I don't think he even survives this turn, to be completely honest. Or if he does, he loses his entire board, and all of my team cannot be KO'd again because I'm going to get that Sabo, and my leader's going to be at 9,000 power, and I'll have 2 blockers on the board. The game's just over right there, and if somehow, I don't know what he could have played, but if he somehow could have hung on there, I'm playing Gecko Mori the following turn. So Black Yellow Luffy seems absolutely stacked. I can't wait to play that deck. It's definitely... I've mentioned this in other videos. The leaders that gain life, those are my leaders. Like, those are my kind of leaders. I'm a paladin in pretty much every game that I play. So being able to gain life is very much, you know, that's me just playing the kind of deck that I tend to play. Okay, so that was that for Black Yellow Luffy. Let's do Red Purple Law now. Okay, here it is. Red Purple Law is another deck that I cannot wait to start playing. Let me get on 2x speed for us. Okay. This is a pretty good start. Hang on, is this thing going to get out of the way? There we go. This is a pretty good start for us. Let me move this. Because I have the Shariah. Now, understand what Shariah does. For those who do not know, the 3-cost card at the bottom left of my screen in my hand, that is a 3-cost blocker. It's a 3-cost 4K blocker with a 1K counter and everything. But he also has, when attacking and when blocking, when attacking or when blocking, you can match your opponent's leader's power. So against Luffy, this is a hardcore, straight-up answer to the deck. They have to remove it, whether it be whatever. There's black and yellow cards to do removal with. They're going to have to meta against this, I think, or they're just going to get run over by this deck every time. Okay, so he plays out a bunch of searchers and draw card effects. He has a lot of cards in hand, and I have a 4-cost law. I'm just going to plop down on him, and he's about to lose 2 cards. Swing 5 at life. He takes it. I'm like, all right, great. So get rid of this Garp. Play out my 4-cost blocker. Use his effect. You trash 2 cards. And let's see what he trashed. I think I look at it. He lost an ace and and Luffy. So yeah, the ace doesn't really matter, to be fair. That doesn't really matter against him. If it was a Gecko Mori, that would have been really incredible. Or a bunch of 2-cost guys, the little 2-cost life searchers, that would have been really awesome. But it's better than nothing, right? It's better than nothing. Okay, he ends up trashing his Gecko Mori because he's like, I think he's like, okay, we got to get the gas going here because red purple law is so aggressive. Because look at my board, I can swing 5, 5, 6, and then 5. You know, with Shariah, and that's before using any of my my Dawn. Okay, so I'm going to. So I have to think about this for a while because, like I said, guys, I am learning a lot about these decks. So I see what I can get away with here. I'm like, let's see what he gives me. Okay, and when he gave me life there, I said, okay, in that case, say goodbye to your Sabo. And bottom decking cards is a big, big counter to Black Yellow Luffy because he wants to grab those cards back from the trash and recur them with his leader's effect and with Gecko Moria and with all those different shenanigans. So I'm like, okay, how's about everything into your life here? We'll get as many cards as we can. And then if you do not remove my Shariah next turn, you just lose the game. Right, that's basically what's going on. If you don't clear my board and gain life and clear my Shariah next turn, you're just dead. It's just over. He's got 5 cards in hand. He uses his leader's effect. I don't think it'll work though, because he didn't get a Sabo, so he has no blocker. So watch what happens here. Swings 8 into this guy. I'm like, yeah, sure. You know, I probably could have saved it, but it didn't matter. There's no way for him to get out of this. There's pretty much no. I don't think there's a way for him to get out of this. So So put 5 on Shariah. Match his leader's health. Swing for 14k at 9. So 2, 4, 6. If he had all 2Ks left in his hand, he could have survived. Okay, so that was that game. Red Purple Law. I've been talking about that a lot lately. That deck is just incredible. Okay, next up we got Red Yellow Sabo. Red Yellow Sabo feels really good as well. Watch how this game pans out. This is a very interesting version, at least in my opinion, that I'm running. Let me move this around so I can see myself. Sorry, guys. Okay, Red Yellow Sabo. If you can get the Land of Wano package rolling, and by Land of Wano, I mean the new Kikanojo card, the 4-cost 6K comes in from Lifeguard, and the Momonosuke you see at the bottom of my screen there in my hand, the 5-cost blocker. If you could start getting that package going, it's unbelievable. Like it's really, really good. And you'll kind of see what I'm talking about in this game. Okay, so swing 5 at the leader. I'm not worried about it. Oh, let me put us on 2x speed. Gotta go 2x speed, guys. Sorry, gotta go fast. Can't stop, won't stop. Swing 5 at leader. He gets a Satori trigger, of course. Swing 5 at leader. He gets a, what's this card called? Shirahoshi trigger. All right, you know, it is what it is. Okay, your turn. And let's see what he does. Of course, he takes out my Garp. I'm going to let that thing go every single time. Swings 5 at lead. I get a Kikanojo trigger, so 2 can play that game, right? That's the nice thing about Red Yellow Sabo. It's like, oh, okay, you get triggers? All right, 2 can play that game, and I'm going to really, really just lay it on this guy with triggers this game. Watch what happens here. Swing 6 into Satori. Let's see if you want to give me a 2K or 2 1Ks. Or a 0 cost in a card from hand. The 0 cost 3K. So he gives me a 2K. So I'm like, okay, we'll swing 6 more. Let's see if you want to give me another 2K. He doesn't. I'm like, okay, play out a Kikanojo. This is where things go south for him. So in the game of One Piece, you should be fighting for the board pretty much 99% of the time, unless you're running some kind of aggro deck, or if you just have to go face because you can't survive the next turn. I'm like, okay, hey, I'll tell you what. I'll go ahead and take both of those, because watch this, guys. You want to talk about value? You want to talk about just incredibly powerful? I'm like, I'll swing 6 at your guy, your Kikanojo. Let him gain a life. I don't care. See what he does. He takes it. And I'm like, okay. So I have to do a little bit of math in my head. Like, all right, wait a minute. How do I do this? So remember, this is in 2x speed. I'm having to figure out how to do this properly. Okay, so I figured out. I swing 7 at life. He gets a Satori trigger. I Momonosuke to push a guy back to my life. In doing so, I give my Momonosuke... Hang on. I got to pause it. So much is going on right now. So I had 2 of the Kikinojos on the board, right? I bounce 1 back to life first with Momonosuke to gain a life. He can just do that with any Land of Wano character other than himself. Then I use my leader effect to bounce back my 7k Kikinojo back to the top of my life, and I can give plus 2,000 power to a character until the start of my next turn. So now I have a 5 cost, 8,000 power blocker, and I'm coming in for 6, and I just gained 2 life. Absolute... I guarantee you my opponent's just scratching their head right now, right? Like what else can you do in that situation? Now, if you want to attack me, you're giving me 2 attackers that are not rested, then I can just beat you down with next turn. And look at my hand, guys. Guess what's going to happen next turn? Yeah, you know, hint, hint, spoiler warning. Take a look at my hand and guess what I'm going to do next turn, you know, with what I have. Oh, swing 8 at life? Yeah, I'd gladly take that. Establish my 4 cost 6k. 6 more? I'll gladly take it. Establish another one. My turn. We're in rinse and repeat. We're in like infinite cycle mode. This guy is in the torture chamber. This guy's in, you know, what's that Mikhail Tao quote? You know, you want to get your opponent into a deep, dark forest where, like, you know, left is right and right's left, down's up, up's down, where he has no way out. There's only one way out. Only one person's going to get out. So this person here, now they're having to take 7, and he only has 1 life left, right? He uses his blocker. So I'm like, okay, since I can't effectively take your last life, I'll tell you what, I'll just eat up your Satori. 6 at 5. Let's see if he gives it to me. He wants to win the game next turn. Did you see how he countered out of that, but not, you know... Well, I guess technically he couldn't counter out of the 7 with 1 card, but y'all know what I'm saying. So, okay, again, I'm trying... It's taking me a while to figure this out, because this is a very technical deck, guys. Like, you know, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's not that hard. Trust me, it's not that hard to watch it, but try it out and you'll see what I'm saying. Plus 2,000 that blocker again. Like I said, literally rinse and repeat. And I'm going to play down a 2-cost guy and say, guess what? If you can't destroy this card, this 2-cost card this turn, you're pretty much just done, right? Like, you have to KO this card, or I'm going to hit you for like 2 times with 1 5-cost 7k. Just incredible, like I said. And understand, this was like a perfect pull in my personal opinion, and I got a trigger to help me out. You're not just always going to get this. But look at this. Oh, you want to attack my life? Sure. I think he swung for 8 there, thinking I was going to block with that 8k blocker. It's like, no, dude, I'm not blocking at all. You know what I mean? I'm going to take those and get more and more attackers. Okay, so I have to, again, figure out how I want to do this exactly. What's the most optimal play? I don't think I got the most optimal play, but we made it work either way. Swing for 7 first for a 1 Dawn investment. Play out Ace to swing for 7. See if he gets a trigger. That's the main thing here. Okay. In which case, I think he does, but I think it's like a Satori or something. Or no, he doesn't. I'm sorry. So return that to my life. Give my blocker plus 2k. Now that's an 8k blocker again if I need it. Swing 7 at life again. Okay. And he gets a Thunderbolt. Gets rid of my big blocker, but I couldn't really get around that, unfortunately. Swing 8 at life. And now I'll go 9 at life. And he only has 2 cards left in hand with no Dawn open, no blockers. Game over. GG. So that was awesome. This Sabo deck, I cannot wait, guys. I don't know what it is. Like, this is like black-yellow Lin on steroids. You know what I mean? Just to, like, put things in perspective, well, a lot of people already know. Black-yellow Lin is a 4 Dawn investment to gain a life if you have 1 life or less. Like, it's that bad. You have to attach to your leader, tap 2 when you swing, trash a card from your hand, and then if you have 1 or less life, you can gain 1 life. Sabo is just like, I'll just attach 1 Dawn here, swing with my guy, bounce it back to my life, play out this card that replays it, smash in, give my leader plus 2k for the turn. It just has so much craziness going on. Really awesome. Cannot wait to mess with that leader. Okay, last but not least, we got Blue-Yellow Queen against Uda. Whoops, let me adjust this real quick. Sorry, guys. I got to get this all situated, get us on 2x speed. All right, and we're good. So Blue-Yellow Queen is a deck that I've always really enjoyed because, again, notice, again, it's life gain. Like, that's my theme. And before anyone jumps on me, I don't like the yellow mechanic because of triggers. Yes, I use triggers because everyone's using them in their decks. Of course, I have to, you know, fight fire with fire. I like yellow because of the life gain. I'm going to pause real quick. I'm sorry, guys. I got to do a little mini rant here. I like yellow because of the life gain. I would be completely for them limiting the amount of triggers we can have, or even doing something to completely, I don't know the word for it, but like, hinder triggers in some way. Like if it's a character that comes into play, you should probably always have to trash a card from hand, or it comes into play rested. Maybe you get that option. You know what I mean? Something like that. I'm just giving some ideas here. I'm not like this huge trigger advocate. I just want you guys to be clear, because I talk about yellow a lot. It's my favorite color, but not because of the trigger part of it, but because of the life gain part of it. I think gaining life is healthy for a game. Triggers I have never been super happy with, but I understand why they exist now because of the way removal was going. I understand it all, but I'm just saying I don't play yellow because of that reason. Okay, back to what we were saying. If you guys have any questions, of course, hit me up in the comment section below. So I don't play out Doflamingo here because I'd rather set my life later in the game when I have access to more cards. I like playing out the Boa Hancock and the Charlotte Brule, because I run 6 of them all together. I'm in 3 blue, 3 yellow of those little blockers. But the Doflamingo is way more valuable to me. Okay, so swing 6 here. I'm just putting on a little bit of pressure, nothing crazy. I'm going to play out this guy in a Perona. I look at my top cards. I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to draw 2 cards before I actually need, to start using these triggers. And the triggers I want are actually, the Brule. There was no good triggers, but there were really... Yamato is very powerful in this matchup, guys. For those who are not aware, notice how much life we both have right now. I could pop a 7-cost Luffy if I drop one next turn, even though I won't be able to drop one next turn because I don't have the Dawn for it. But notice how powerful that is. If I was smart here, I probably would have just not attacked. But at the same time, I'm like, let me see what he does here, and that will determine what happens. I expected him to block out with the Luffy. I just wanted to test the waters with the guy, and he takes it. He's like, yeah, I want to draw cards. Which, hey, that's a good idea. But I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get rid of your Nami and your 3-cost Uda with, I mess up the name every time. The Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger, something like that. It's so good, though. That card is so good, guys. So I get a Sanji trigger from the top. I'm like, okay, that's nice. Got the old Sanji trigger. We'll take it. Then I get another Sanji trigger. Easy game. Am I right? Easy game. Okay, I make a small play mistake here. So real quick, I'm going to take 1 life, right? I want to, by the way. What I'm saying is I want to take 1 life here. But it doesn't quite work out the way I want to, because what I did was I threw away my pudding thinking, okay, I'll be down to, what I need to play my leader effect next turn and blah, 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 and get like this really crazy combo. But I do the math a little bit wrong, and I should have just countered out of this one. That's all I'm going to say. I should have just simply countered out of this completely with a 2K, 1K, but I mess it up. It was definitely a mistake, but it's not something I can't come back from. So just so you guys know, it does happen, man. It happens. So right here, I'm like, okay, I need to play out my, what's her name? The Yamato first. I have no choice now because I can't gain life otherwise. Then I do this effect. And because I did things wrong, I could not gain an extra life there. That's what I'm really trying to say. I couldn't go back up to 2 life. But I did get 3 blockers. That's going to end up helping me out in the long run. I take this. I knew what was coming because I set it there with my top 5 searcher. He's going to swing it for 6. I'm like, sure, just get this thing out of the way. Not worried about it. Swing 5. Now I know he's going to drop Kid, right? If he left that open, like 9 open, it's like, okay, he's going to drop Eustace Kid. Not great, but also not the end of the world. You'll see what happens here. Remember, I know what's coming, right? Because I did a top 5 search with my Perona. Okay, so swing 6. I have to do this just to gain life so that I can pop the 3-cost with my Yamato. I had to do it in that order. Swing 9 at your guy. He's got to give me a card for that. And I'm passing turn. I'm on 2 life. I have 2 9K beaters and 3 blockers on the board right now. So my hand is not great, other than the fact that like it does give me some gas for later. But I'm basically, this is how Blue Yellow Queen operates. For those who don't know, you go down to low cards in life, or in hand and life for that matter, and then you stabilize at that point. I get a beige trigger here. I almost didn't use it. I was almost thinking like maybe I'll just take the life, but then I remembered like, well, wait a minute. I need to, try to go down to 0 life this turn. I think I messed that up. I probably should have just, actually let that not used beige. But it is good to get the card out of hand as well for those who are, for those who don't know, because you want to. So the Queen effect, the leader effect, is where you have 4 cards in your hand plus life. So right now I have 5 cards, right? So I can't use my leader's effect. All right, so I'm going to swing in here for 10 at the kid. Of course, he's going to block out of it, and I'm like, okay, I'll just gain a life this way because I can't gain a life by swinging with my leader. So I have to do it this way. I couldn't KO the Brook because he was a 4 cost, and there was only 3 life between the two of us. And he ends up just passing there and just saying like next game, because there's no way he's going to win at this point, right? Every turn from this point on, I'm going to gain 2 life. You know, realistically, like I guess not technically, because that was my 3rd Yamato. I would have to get another one, but the point is, I'm going to gain 1 life a turn. Next turn I was going to play Doflamingo and gain a life, setting what the trigger was going to be, and that's what I really like about Blue Yellow Queen. There is that skill aspect of it, where yes, I understand triggers are. A lot of people are complaining about triggers right now. I get it. I totally understand. But one beautiful thing about the way this deck operates is it does go off that. It's like, okay, I'm going to fully benefit from triggers. I'm going to set my triggers. That's how good the deck is at, you know, setting it up. So, all right. So that's it for the videos, or for the games. Let me show you guys the decks I was running real quick. Just take a screenshot, guys. A lot of people like to ask me down in the comment section below. I'll try to answer those if I can. I'd rather you just take a screenshot and just do it that way. This is the Black Yellow Luffy deck. I mean, literally, it's just a 4 of every single card you see, except the 5 cost Sabo. Let me go and move my head. I remember this time. Aha, I'm learning. No, but anyway, this Sabo, guys, he was pretty nice. He was pretty nice. I'm not a huge fan of this Luffy. There's a new Luffy coming out in OP07 that I like way better than this Luffy because it gives us more removal. So I think like whenever that does happen, I'll probably go down to 2 of these Luffys, 2 of the Luffys that KO, and probably these 2 Sabos. Or another thing I could do is maybe go down to 3 of these Luffys and 3 of these, well, 3 Luffys here, you know, the new OP07 Luffys. Otherwise, everything is straightforward. The 2K counters I run are the life manipulation ones like Hiyori, Flampy, and Makino. And then I run 8 searchers, right? The 4 event searchers and the 4 Garbs. Everything else is very straightforward. Next up is Red Purple Law. This deck, I think, kind of builds itself. I like to run the Trafalgar Law, the purple one, the blocker that makes them trash 2 if they have 7 or more cards. Because, guys, everyone's running this like hand destruction with Pudding and with, you know, the Perona from Mono Black Gecko Moria. There's a lot of hand destruction going around. I like to fight fire with fire. If I can do it, then I want to also attack them with that. This card has come in clutch quite a few times. It's a blocker. It's a 4 cost 5K. You can cheat out with your leader effect. It just has a lot of utility. And then we already know what this card does. Kid and Killer's insane. I run 2 Zoros. That might be a little low for some people. I know people like to have their rushers, but I would rather set up a full board first, like with these other cards that are helping me get to the late game, and then just take my opponent out with Kid and Killer and with Zoro. That's the way that I prefer to play it. I run a lot of power reduction, guys. 4 of the Promo Law, 4 Gordon, 4 Raise Max, and 4 Otama. Straight up 16 cost reducers, and then I run, I think it's 12 Dawn boosters, however you want to say that. 4 Beppo, 4 Shashi and Penguin, and 4 Bon Clay. Okay, of course the Rage Juice. Y'all know what to do from there. Okay, and I actually do run 3. I run 3 Captain Kid, because sometimes, I don't know, if you can get him in your opening hand and play him right on turn 3 like I did in the game that we looked at, yeah, this card's amazing. The card is absolutely incredible for what we're doing with our deck. But a lot of times he is just going to eat removal, and other times he's just going to come like at a where it's not a good time to play him. That's been my experience. I'm not saying the card's bad. It's been really situational for me. Red Yellow Sabo. This is the version I run. Notice it has 16 rush cards. It runs 8 triggers that are bringing stuff into play. All the life manipulation 2K counters. This could probably actually be the other one, the Makino, the 1 cost Makino that messes with your life. That's probably not a bad idea for this. But at the same time, I'm running a lot of cards that are dead in hand, like that are not triggers. Like look at this, or excuse me, that are not counters. Y'all know what I meant. Straight bricks, right? 4 here, 4, 4, 4, 4. So that's 20, and then plus this. Yeah, so 24 cards in my hand are bricks, or 24 cards in my deck, obviously. So this is a good include, but at the same time, this is an aggro deck, right? This is a blitzy deck. You know, you get what you get. I like the Garp in here. Another thing that you might want to run here, or that you could possibly run, would be like the the event searcher, just to have more a little more consistency by getting your aces and your Luffys, because I'm only running 4 red ace, 4 yellow, 4 of the red Luffys, 4 of the yellow aces, and then the 8, life searcher versions of them. And that's really about it. Red, yellow, Sabo, very fun deck to play. If you have not tried that yet, guys, you should try it. Now, the last list here, this is my queen list, and it is legit. And this is, excuse me, this is the only deck that is OP06 legal, or however you say it. This is an ST12 card, the pudding, but that's just a 2K counter. I do think this is an excellent 2K counter for what Queen does, because you play out a card from your hand to make your hand size smaller, where you can gain a life with a leader effect if you need to, and then pull it back to your hand afterwards. However, this is not technically legal yet. I think it will be in like less than a month, or maybe a month in the West, something like that. For the time being, just throw out a 2K, throw in any 2K counter you want there. Hiyori, you name it. It doesn't really matter. But other than that, this is pretty straightforward. I'm running 3 of this Raging Blade, or the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. I mess it up every single time for some reason. And I'm only running 2 of the new Sanjis. Because, guys, when I first played this deck, the Dracula Mihawks and the Yamatos, they're just straight value. They're straight value. I don't know how else to say it. Especially Yamato. I feel like you have to run 4 Yamato if you're trying to run Blue, Yellow, Queen. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, your mileage may vary. I think Sanji is good, but only when you can really set things with this stuff here, like with Doflamingo, Perona, or Drake. I'm trying these both out. Honestly, I think Perona's better than X-Drake in this deck. Gadatsu's been okay. If you get him in your opening hand, you can play very passively at first and pop one of their big characters, establish a 6K, and then start attacking their life. But X-Drake has just not been practical, in my personal opinion. I think Perona's just way better, because you can even play this later in the game. You know what I mean? Like, you can actually play this late in the game for 1 and still play a 9 cost if you need to. That's the idea there. One thing I would like to improve on in the deck is maybe, it sounds weird, but I'd like to go down 2 Gadatsus and probably just go up 2 Red Rocks. Just straight up. Go down 1 Gum Gum Rain, go down 2 Gadatsus, and go up 3 of the Red Rocks. Because it would just be nice to be able to just have an answer for any card on the board for a 6 Dawn investment, and then afterwards I could follow it up with the Doflamingo and swing with my leader for 6 and gain a life if needed. I just think that would be really... I think that it makes more sense in the deck. Does that make sense? And again, if you guys have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to mention them down below. Kikinojo's insane. This ends up being a presence on the board that we can just keep swinging with non-stop. And they're probably going to ignore it. And if they don't, if they don't and they choose to KO it, well, we gain a life. So sure, that's fine. But you do have to be careful, right? Like I said, if you're gonna get your Kikinojo triggers out, it won't happen unless your opponent's at 3 or less life, right? And that's where I think the Gadatsu, as good as Gadatsu is, I think we just have to run something else here. Maybe even 4 Red Rocks. Maybe that's just the right call, so that we can be more aggressive in the early game to ensure we get our Kikinojos for free and establish tempo that way, keep our hand count low, and all that good stuff. It might just be the way to go. All right, guys, that's it. I've been rambling on for too long now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you guys have any questions, hit me up down in the comment section below, and I'll answer them as fast as I can. All right, till next time, guys. Peace.